What's going on, everyone? What a week 10 in the NFL. I hope you guys had a great weekend, great Veterans Day weekend. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Man, what a week. Let's break it down. Let's just get right into it. Thursday Night Football with a great game between the Bengals and the Ravens. The Ravens put it away. The Bengals are so good offensively and not so good defensively. And their season, I hate to say it, the way that their division's going, they might be done. There's still obviously a little bit less than half the season to go, but with the way their division is shaping out between the Ravens and the Steelers, they might be done. I told you all Carolina was going to win. Now, I did not think that game was going to be as entertaining as it was in Munich, which, by the way, the German fans are awesome. But Carolina gets the job done. Okay, Bryce Young gets another win under his belt, maybe slowly making a little comeback. So good for them. The Bears do what they do, and they disappoint, and they lost to the Patriots. And the Patriots looked okay, right? They didn't look great. They're not world beaters. They're still rebuilding. Caleb Williams has to figure it out. And everyone wants to blame the front office, and that's okay. That's fine. Or the coaching staff, Eberflus, however you say his name. And that's fine and well and dandy, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to the player, right? They have weapons. They went and got him weapons. Him and Odunze have to figure it out. And they will. I'm not going to say a bust or anything like that. I'm not that guy. But they got to figure it out eventually. So the Bills do what the Bills do. They made it somewhat entertaining, but then they put it away. Josh Allen is incredible. He's starting to put a stamp on a potential MVP season, in my opinion. I know it was just the Colts, but you could only play who's in front of you. I tell you guys that every single week. You could only play who's in front of you, okay? And the Bills do what they do. They were absolutely fantastic and got another win. Speaking of not fantastic, the Vikings and the Jaguars game. That was the worst game of the weekend. But the one stat that matters is wins. And the Vikings eked out a win. And good for them. They did not look good. They had problems getting Justin Jefferson involved. Their run game got a little stale, but they did what they had to do to put away the Jaguars and get a win on the road. So good for them. Speaking of eking one out, Kansas City does what Kansas City does. Now, the AFC West division games, as a fan of the West, of the AFC West, these games can be tough to predict, right? We play each other tough. We beat each other up. And the Broncos look solid defensively. They got to Mahomes. They made him move. They sacked him a couple of times. And they looked better than I thought they would. Their offense is stale. It's not good, in my opinion. But again, Kansas City does what Kansas City does. The Chiefs are going to chief, right? The Chiefs are going to chief. In Arrowhead, the Chiefs are going to chief. And they block a potential game-winning field goal. Only the darn Chiefs, right? Only the darn Chiefs. And they are still undefeated. And again, for the Chiefs, that's the only stat they care about. That's the only stat they care about. I put a win on the Falcons. That is incorrect. The Saints won that game 17-20. So yeah, that's a mistake on my part. So yeah, that's my bad. The Saints won that game 17-20 because the Falcons forgot how to offense. The Saints have not played good, but again, it's those division games, right? You expect a team to come out and blow another team out of the water. The Saints have a lot of injuries, and they stuck in there, man. They were dogs. Respect to them for that. I'm not the biggest Saints person, especially after what they did to Justin Herbert, but they were absolute dogs, man. You can only play who's in front of you, and you try your best to win. So that's pretty cool. Good for them. The 49ers, man, they're a different beast with your CMC back. Sorry, they missed a lot of kicks. Debo apparently is trying to smack his kicker around or his long snapper around. I don't know what the hell that was all about. Right? That's not leadership. That's not accountability. You can't do that. That's a bad look for Deebo Samuel. But the 49ers can eke out a win. They get a win against an always tough Bucs team. The Bucs, man, they have lost some very, very close games this season. They could be at the top of their division. Truly. They're a tough out. But the 49ers did their thing and made it happen. The Steelers beat the Commanders in a very entertaining and close game. Russell Wilson, I don't want to say Russ is back because Russ is back would mean Super Bowl, and I know Steelers fans always think they're going to win the Super Bowl. That's fine. That's why I love you guys. Travel well, man. There's those terrible towels everywhere, no matter what stadium, right? It doesn't matter, right? But that was a good win on the road, right? Against a game Commanders team that has been playing absolutely fantastic, leading their division. Man, the Steelers could be a scary out in the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. The Chargers beat the Titans. Yay, we didn't play down to our opponent. Look, this is the Harbaugh effect for the Chargers, right? I'm going to go off on a little tangent here as a Chargers fan. Last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, under Brandon Staley, the worst NFL head coach of all time, we lose this game, right? We played down to our competition, right? We didn't. We were down early. We stayed calm. We continued to run the ball, and we won. That makes me, as a Chargers fan, that's all I need. Stop playing down to the bad teams. Play up to the good teams and beat the teams you're supposed to. And that's what the Chargers did. I was very, very happy with that. The Jets are done. Now I can officially say it. The Jets are done. The Cardinals looked absolutely fantastic. Kyler Murray looked great. They're going into the bye week next week on a high. They are leading the division. And that's really good for the Cardinals, right? That's really, really good for them. They are steadying the ship. Their defense is getting tougher and tougher. They're getting Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. James Conner might be the toughest runner in the league. Dude is a hoss. He's hard to bring down. So they looked very, very good. Trey McBride at tight end is starting to come into his own and making catches on big third down plays. The Cardinals are looking real good. So good for them. Good for them. You can tell they've put in the work. They're starting to believe in the system. Looked real good. Cowboys are trash. You know who's not trash? The Eagles. And I thought they were trash like 4 weeks ago. That's why I love football, right? You look at a team and go, what the hell's happening with this football team? 2, 3, 4 weeks go by. You're like, damn, okay, that team fixed themselves. The Eagles fixed themselves, right? They beat the crap out of the Cowboys. And I know backup quarterback, blah, 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 blah. Again, you can only play who's in front of you. Who cares about other teams' injuries? You have your own injuries as a football team, right? You play who's in front of you. And they went into Dallas and beat the crap out of the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy, I don't know why Jerry Jones hasn't fired him yet. I know most Cowboys fans say, well, damn, we want Jerry Jones to fire himself. Can't fire the owner. So I'm pretty sure Mike McCarthy is done. I don't know what they're hanging on for, but that's fine and well and good. But the Cowboys, I don't see a path going forward where they are competitive at all. Not just this season. I'm talking about next season too. At all. The Lions and the Texans, what a football game. What a football game. That Sunday night football game was beyond entertaining. Goff with 5 interceptions and the Lions win. What? Goff with 5 interceptions. He probably shut down his MVP hopes with that game, right? Like with that performance. Because of the way other quarterbacks are playing. Let's be real, the MVP is a quarterback award. It's going to a quarterback. But he probably played himself out of that competition. But they're looking for a Super Bowl. And if they can win a game against a very good Texans team who fixed a lot of their offensive line problems in 1 week, right? The Lions had a hard time getting pressure on Stroud. So good for that coaching staff for the Texans, right? And shuffling around their line, right? You know, with DeMarco shuffling around his line, making sure that they're protecting their franchise quarterback, and he looked good. Nico was back, and I think that changed a little bit. Tank Dell was big for them. Running the ball seemed to be a struggle, but it's hard to run the ball against the Lions anyway. That was a great football game, and the Lions get another win. The Lions are chalking up those wins. Last night, the Monday Night Football game on Veterans Day, the Dolphins get a really good win. It kind of got a little stale, right? Like the end of the first quarter to the beginning of the third quarter, and then it kind of picked up a little bit. The Rams, that's a tough loss for them because they're fighting for a division lead. That was good for the Cardinals, right? The Cardinals probably were really happy that the Rams lost last night because they're like, cool, we're still leading the division. That's awesome. But the Dolphins look good. Tua's moving around well, and that's always good to see, right? Like, you don't want him to have another concussion or get hurt. He did take a couple of hits, but he popped right back up and looked okay. So that's good to see. But that was a good win for the Dolphins. They're probably out of playoff contention at this point. I think they're, 3-6, 3-7. 3-6. But overall, that was a good Monday night game, and Week 10 was awesome. I enjoyed Week 10. It kind of looked, like you looked at the schedule, you pick out your 2 or 3 games, go, yeah, those are the games. But as a whole, the week, I thought it was really good. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of Week 10. How did your team do? And, man, we're getting to the tail end of the season. So do you think your team is going to make the playoffs? Do you think they got a shot at the playoffs? Are they going to ruin other teams' playoff chances? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.